Hang with me for a second so we can talk about the divine feminine that we all have within ourselves and how patriarchal systems like our own government tries to suppress our feminine traits through strict gender roles to enslave us and keep us from true authenticity and establishing full inner peace within. It might sound completely fucking crazy to some people, but just bear with me as I attempt to explain this to you as quickly and as efficiently as possible, and then you can look this up and check the validity of everything I'm saying yourself. Once you break away from what you once thought to be true, your eyes will start to open to a lot more things. A healed mindset involves an even balance of both your divine feminine and masculine sides that we all happen to be blessed with. It is more complex than what society says masculinity or femininity is exactly. They are more than just words to explain someone's gender. To be yourself fully, you must go within to recognize all aspects of yourself. And it is there that you will start to identify an even balance between your divine feminine and masculine sides. If you have trauma, then you most likely have a toxic dominant side to you, most of the time, toxic masculine. Those toxic traits usually show their head in your expressions and defense mechanisms from an avoidant lifestyle. An avoidant lifestyle is essentially your inability to change and progress, staying stuck in defensive flight or fight mode from trauma. The words masculine, feminine, male and female, guy and girl are all defined by social contexts and mental conditioning, all of which are made up constructs that can never define the true human experiences we are all blessed with. Gender roles limit us to only see a complicit side of ourselves, and we aren't able to fully embrace who we are as individuals because we have to mold ourselves into what society wants us to be, and free expression is therefore lost. Most of the time, we don't even realize we are being manipulated because we normalize toxic traits after being continuously suppressed by them. We're groomed at a very young age with 8-hour school days to get us used to 8-hour work shifts as adults. Our brains are rewired for slave like complicity, and the start of strict gender roles are implemented to suppress anyone who's not a toxic masculine person by normalizing gender roles through marketing tactics, male and female bathrooms, textbook biases, co-ed schools, future job titles, and so on. Take gender roles and labels completely out of this for a second, though. Are you supposed to stricken yourself to work for others? Dedicate all your time to be enslaved, retiring at 70 with little pension, wishing you had just fulfilled your dreams earlier in life? Is that the true human experience you envision for yourself on Earth? Working for other people as though our choices weren't forced? Being in debt, having to budget between food or a roof over your head, never fixing the mental health issues we all have endured from suppression, never being your authentic self to your mission in life because the systems we are binded to won't let us live out our true human experiences. Enslaved to a system to make elitists rich while there are people hungry, without homes, who need help from the community, but to ask for it is an implication that could just get you thrown in jail now. Homelessness has been criminalized on top of continuous cuts to SNAP and healthcare benefits, while corporations are making more money than they ever have before. Countries like the United States will strip you from your true human experiences by forming strict gender roles to fuel a patriarchal system, because corporate America thinks it's easy to control you if you have toxic masculine traits, and that's what they look for. It suppresses our divine feminine sides and loves to use religion and racism as a foundation for their fear-based control tactics. A patriarchy is where men dominate the cultural, religious, and institutional values of a society, and that is exactly how corporate America works. Nazis and toxic white men are the gears behind the functioning of racist America. MAGA is just simply bringing the toxicity to the surface and exposing it for what it is at a much faster pace. It's right in our faces now. The end of an old racist, misogynistic system that doesn't work for everyone is taking its last dying breaths, and as we are evolving, people are waking up and are no longer willing to commit ourselves to the fucking patriarchy because it just screws everyone over. That is why the suppression of femininity is crucially important to them. If people, more so women, start to express themselves comfortably and men start to soften their egos and understand their emotion side, which is normal, then the patriarchy system will fall right before our eyes. Did you hear that? It will fall right before our eyes if we start to care about each other and have community. Once it falls, it will start to give us a sense of community, feel each other's pain through the empathy and compassion that we have for each other, and give us a greater sense of what accountability looks like. And then we will only demand it from here on out for ourselves and each other, our families, everyone will demand it. That is why women are silenced, looked at as sex tools, as less than, aren't believed as sexual assault victims, and are now being controlled with abortion rights, looked at as baby makers and trad wives. They think that women can't make informed decisions on their own, like voting in elections or running a household without a fucking man. The patriarchy feels women are only worthy in the kitchen and made to believe that toxic masculinity towards them is normal and suppression is correct. The patriarchy's goal causes women to feel powerless. Why do you think feminism is hated so much by conservative politicians? You can't control someone who sees you exactly for who the fuck you are and how you treat other people. Empathy and understanding are the divine feminine traits a toxic person would want you to suppress. In this case, our government wants you to suppress those traits. The patriarchy also thinks that transgender women shouldn't freely express themselves because it breaks the gender norms of societal standards, and they are deemed as a threat to the system as well. They expressively show people we are in a bubble of slavery and control that they don't like. They will try to suppress anything that could wake people up. Women's rights, trans rights, human rights as a whole. Instead, they are working to roll back marriage equality, are ending civil rights era laws, forcing women to have children, making abortions a murder charge, and are forcing the education system to cater to religious institutions instead of investing time and money into public schools, which will further advocate for forced gender roles. That's why they see DEI and rainbow flags as an issue, calling it indoctrination. The patriarchy has continuously oppressed people in America, like Black people and immigrants, homeless people, and the LGBTQIA+ community. The oppressed will be able to tell you everything about the system that is harming them. Not your white ass that's fucking listening to me and what you see through your own specific experiences and lens, but through what others have experienced themselves. That's why you need to open up to community and listen to other people sometimes, because they will tell you the oppression that is going on. Your privileged ass might not see it. Don't deny their voices. Listen to them. And while most straight white men are the golden eggs in the United States, they too are affected, inflicted with normalized toxic masculine traits, unable to fulfill expressive emotions, made to think empathy is a sign of weakness, thrusted into gender roles and made to live a persona instead of being guided to live in authenticity and individualism. Tough guy, redneck, hillbilly, and cowboy personas men start to deem as tough and manly, redefining exactly what masculinity is. The divine feminine is not gender specific because, again, it is inside of everyone. So is masculinity. It is crucial to maintain an even balance of both within ourselves. If we stick to strict gender roles, then we lose the true human experiences we are all meant to have. The system that we are all supposed to follow to make the top 1% and their families all the money want toxic white men in power with toxic masculine traits, because that's mainly who runs the 1%. That's mainly who the 1% is. White, toxic, fucking rich men. It does nothing for you or I, the average norm. If you lead with toxic masculinity, you'll resist emotions like empathy and compassion. Will act manly and tough, confrontational and defensive. That's patriarchal conditioning, because you're ignoring your divine feminine traits you have by causing your own aggression and dominance while adhering to the patriarchal system. Being a toxic masculine person, whether you're male or female, means you're controlling, arrogant, aggressive, avoidant, too competitive, abusive, and unstable. Normalize those traits to a society and it will disrupt everyone's divine feminine side. The divine feminine side of us is creative, artistic, vulnerable, open, trusting, strong, magnetic, grounded, intuitive, receptive, reflective, fierce, nurturing, elegant, wise, gentle, and compassionate. Of course, the system wants you to be so wrapped up in a toxic mindset that you can't express your true individual self. Our toxic masculine sides will eliminate all of our good feminine traits. With an even balance, you will have community, healing, growth, empathy, compassion, discipline, honesty, boundaries, logic, focus, creativity, and authenticity. The divine feminine is a patriarchy's biggest threat, because it allows us to understand empathy and compassion, right and wrong, thus giving us the ability to call out their bullshit, freeing us from corporate slavery, and they wouldn't get away with chastising minorities and vulnerable groups they use to deflect our attention away from their crimes. Do you now understand why politicians love finding vulnerable groups of minorities to pick on and use as political tools for toxic masculine domination of a population, allowing themselves a way to assert dominance to keep people in line? Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more.